It was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
Remember the time that him and his mama kissed each other on the lips? Do you remember that both of them was getting an IV at the same time? That's from the Diddy Freak Off party.
Lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to something
City.
called Puffy Flavor Camp
There you go.
to learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Every single day. Bam, another bombshell. And this one involves Usher.
Usher, yeah. That name surfacing definitely takes things, well, deeper. It suggests this story, these alleged patterns, they might go back much further than a lot of the recent headlines.
Exactly. We're not talking about stuff from just a few years ago.
Yeah.
No. The word is there might be recordings, phone calls, tapes, maybe even voice memos that could go all the way back to 2004.
2004, that's a long time ago. It puts Usher potentially right in the thick of it, very early on, not just someone hearing things later.
Right. Like an eyewitness from the beginning almost.
Yeah.
Someone who allegedly lived through it and not just heard about it secondhand.
If these reports are accurate, his perspective could be foundational. Understanding what he allegedly saw or went through, that could change the whole picture.
And okay, here's where it gets really dark. There are these whispers, these kind of chilling stories about an incident when Usher was living with Diddy. Something apparently so bad, it supposedly landed Usher in the hospital.
Hospitalization, yeah. If that's true, that's a serious escalation. We're moving beyond, industry pressure or bad vibes into alleged physical harm.
And the story goes, the narrative we're piecing together, is that Usher was maybe silenced for years. The usual stuff, NDAs, pressure, keeping quiet.
Non-disclosure agreements, yeah. They can be incredibly effective at controlling the narrative.
But apparently that silence might be cracking. People are saying Usher's ready.
Yeah.
Ready to talk, and maybe he even has proof.
Evidence, that kind of shift, someone potentially breaking silence after years, that can be a major turning point. It often encourages others or just blows the whole thing open.
Okay, so let's rewind. How did Usher even get connected with Diddy in the first place? He was super young, right? Like 13, 14.
Just a kid, yeah. Signed to LaFace Records by L.A. Reid. Huge talent, obviously.
A massive break.
Yeah.
But then, L.A. Reid sends him to live with Diddy, a teenager. Why?
Yeah.
What was the thinking there?
Well, Reid himself has kind of talked about this. He said it was about exposing Usher to a certain flavor, a lifestyle, to help his career, supposedly.
A flavor.
Yeah, but Reid also admitted later on that maybe it wasn't the best idea. He used the word reckless, I think, sending a kid into that kind of environment.
Wow. He called meeting Usher a career high, said the kid was fearless, captivating, but then questioned sending him to Diddy. Was it bold or just irresponsible? That tells you something, right?
It really does. It highlights the pressures in the industry, sometimes the push for stardom. It can maybe overshadow looking out for these young artists.
So what was it like, this Puffy Flavor Camp, as Reid put it? Usher lived there for a whole year.
A full year, yeah.
Usher's own words were that he saw the lifestyle, called it pretty wild, and he admitted, being 13, he just couldn't really grasp it all.
Pretty wild. Even that phrase, coming from him, suggests it was probably intense. Probably exposed him to things way beyond a typical teenager's world. Maybe stuff he wasn't ready for.
Okay, back to that alleged hospitalization. There's an insider claiming something specific happened at Diddy's place, something serious enough to put Usher in the hospital. And apparently, back then, there were rumors in Harlem about someone getting hurt pretty bad right around the time Usher was living there.
The timing lining up like that, the rumors in Usher's stay, it's definitely concerning. We don't have the full details, obviously, it's all alleged, but the persistence of these whispers is notable.
This insider basically said, and I'm quoting loosely here, but people knew back then there was a situation between Puff and Usher, and that it led to the hospital.
Right.
They're hinting Usher knows the whole story. The implication is heavy.
And the fact that people might have known but didn't speak out, it points to a certain climate, doesn't it? Maybe fear of consequences?
Then fast forward, there's this super awkward clip online. Diddy's talking, and he seems to just casually mention waking up with Usher.
Oh, I think I saw that one.
And then he immediately tries to walk it back, scrambles, saying Usher was only 10, and they were arguing over Frosted Flakes. It's just weird.
The Frosted Flakes part, yeah. It sounds contrived, like trying way too hard to make it sound innocent and random. The backtracking itself is what catches your attention.
Totally. And reports say the people with Diddy in that clip look stunned, like jaws on the floor. Couldn't believe he let that slip.
That kind of reaction from people close to him, it can be telling. It suggests maybe that they know the cover story isn't quite...
Okay, but it gets even more disturbing. There's this other report. Usher was supposedly at a dinner. Diddy, Cassie, Neo, Jimmy Iovine were all there.
Okay.
And Usher allegedly witnessed Diddy punch Cassie in the stomach.
Wow. That's a horrific allegation.
And the report says everyone just sat there, silent, chilling, right?
That kind of alleged public display and the silence surrounding it, it speaks volumes about potential power dynamics. Fear, maybe complicity. It's hard to know, but it's deeply troubling.
And people online, you know how it is. They're commenting now,
Wow.
saying Usher has a daughter now.
Yeah.
Why didn't he do something back then? Especially given his own alleged experiences.
It's a really complex thing to judge from the outside. Witnessing something like that, especially in that kind of high-stakes environment, people react differently. Trauma responses are complicated.
True. Okay, now here's where it feels like history might be repeating itself, and it's really unsettling. Years later, Usher introduces Justin Bieber to L.A. Reid.
Right, Bieber.
Bieber's also 13 at the time. Usher kind of presents him as this gift, his protege. See the parallel, right?
The age, the mentorship connection to Reid. Yeah, the echoes are definitely there. It makes you wonder what Usher thought, having gone through something similar himself. Did he normalize it?
And Reid apparently described Bieber as beautiful. Then, get this, Diddy allegedly gets temporary guardianship of Bieber for 48 hours.
Guardianship. Why?
That part's murky. But Diddy's own reported comments about those 38 hours,
Yeah.
they are just awful. Talking about going full buck, full crazy, go get some girls with Bieber, who was like 15 by then.
That kind of talk involving a minor, it's completely inappropriate, raises huge red flags about safety and judgment.
And there are videos.
Huh.
Diddy asking Bieber really uncomfortable questions, telling him basically, don't talk about what happens between us. In one clip, Diddy even asks Bieber if he's wearing a wire. A wire? Can you imagine?
Asking a kid if he's wired, that level of paranoia or maybe awareness, it suggests someone knows they're doing things they shouldn't be, right? Things they want kept secret.
Exactly. And again, people online are calling Usher out. Did he just set Bieber up for the same kind of situation he allegedly escaped? With a harsh question.
It is harsh, but it's a question people are asking. It forces a look at responsibility, potential enablement, how these cycles might perpetuate in the industry.
Okay, shifting slightly. Diddy's own son, Freddie P, has come out with some pretty heavy stuff too.
Yes, I saw some of that.
He talks about Diddy allegedly manipulating him, isolating him, using expensive gifts to ensure loyalty, like controlling him.
That suggests the alleged patterns of control weren't just professional, they extended right into his family. It adds another dimension to the claims.
Now, Freddie P asked this really chilling question about Diddy's infatuation with a child that wasn't his own son, coming from his own kid.
Yes. Wow. That phrasing, infatuation, is definitely loaded. It hints at dynamics that feel off, unhealthy, potentially inappropriate.
Then there's the whole thing with Diddy and his mother. It's just strange. Videos of him kissing her on the lips.
Right, the public displays.
Calling her Mom Dukes, joking about her being single, ready to mingle.
Yeah.
Taking her to strip clubs.
Yeah.
It's not exactly typical mother-son stuff.
No, it definitely pushes the boundaries of conventional family dynamics. It's raised a lot of eyebrows.
And she's been seen wearing white nail polish.
Yeah.
Which, given all the other swirling rumors and their alleged meanings, people have noticed that. Plus them getting IV drips together, it just paints a weird picture.
Yeah, sometimes these small, seemingly odd details gain significance when you look at the bigger picture, at the accumulation of unusual alleged behaviors.
But it gets way wilder. Gene Deal, a former bodyguard, made claims, explosive claims, that Diddy's mother ran a so-called modeling agency.
Okay.
But Deal alleges it was actually a front for escort services, and that she was supposedly present at some of those notorious freak-off parties.
If that's true, I mean, that implies a level of knowledge, maybe even involvement within the family itself, going way back. It suggests a normalization of really questionable activities.
People commenting online say Diddy's mom always gave them a weird vibe, that maybe she influenced him early on. Someone else mentioned her giving up her little modeling thing and wild parties. It's like people are trying to connect the dots now.
These public perceptions and anecdotes, while not proof, they do shape the narrative and reflect a long-standing sense, for some, that something wasn't quite right with the family dynamic.
And it leads to this unbelievable question people are asking. Was Diddy's mother involved in those alleged parties? Was she part of the freak-offs? It feels insane to even say it.
It forces a consideration of just how deep these alleged issues might run, potentially multi-generational involvement, which is a staggering thought.
So you put it all together, right? Usher's start, the alleged hospital incident, then the Bieber parallels, Freddie P's claims about manipulation, the whole bizarre dynamic with his mother. It really starts to look like a pattern, a long, disturbing pattern.
Yes, the accumulation is key. All these different threads spanning decades, involving different people in different contexts. It points away from isolated incidents and towards something possibly more systemic within his circle.
Someone online summed it up brutally. Usher started as a victim, maybe became an enabler, and Bieber was definitely a victim. It's rough, but it captures the tangled mess of it all.
It really highlights the moral complexity, doesn't it? How roles can blur, victim, witness, maybe even participant or enabler in some way, even unintentionally. It's incredibly messy.
So where does this leave us? Is it too late for Usher to really tell his story? Or is this finally it? The start of a massive reckoning for Diddy, something maybe built on decades of alleged secrets.
This feels like it could be a pivotal moment, not just for them, but maybe for the industry too. A real look at power, abuse, and how young artists are treated.
It feels like there's so much more still buried. What do you think is going to happen next? Let us know your thoughts. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on this.